You can't hate yourself thin, Viv! My husband Mike screamed in horror as he stared at my bloody knuckles. I love you, but I can't watch you do this to yourself, he said. My strong, confident husband looking so sad and so exhausted and so powerless and so small. He's disgusted by you, came the whispers in my head as I felt the cold bathroom tile pressing hard into my knees. The whispers I'd been hearing since I was 13 years old. The whispers that had bullied me and battered me my entire life, telling me I was fat, telling me I was weak, that I was ugly, that I was a failure who was always going to fail, that I would never be beautiful and no one would ever love me unless I starved myself. But no matter how much I beat myself up or how hard I tried, starving myself was something I could never, ever do. Because even when I lost the weight for a while and liked the woman I saw in the mirror and felt that warmth wash over me when I caught Mike devouring me with his eyes as I walked across the room, no matter how much I wanted to be thin, no matter how beautiful I felt when I lost the weight, eventually my willpower cracked like a dam, and even though I hated myself for doing it, I ate and I ate and ate. Because, like so many other women, when it came to me and food always, always won. Or at least it seemed that way at the time. Before I discovered the strange, common sense secret that cured me of my cravings forever, saved my marriage, and helped me lose over 38 pounds without strenuous exercise, without depriving myself of the foods I loved, and without doing anything that felt like dieting at all. Baby, come to bed, Mike begged as he helped me pick myself up off the floor. He tried to spoon me, but I pushed him away. I didn't want him to touch me. I didn't want him to feel the rolls of fat around my belly. How disgusting I'd become. I snapped awake at 2 a.m, covered in sweat and gasping for air. My fingers felt raw and bruised where they'd scraped across my teeth. My stomach throbbed from the pizza and the candy and the ice cream and the shame I'd gorged myself on just a few hours before. I'd been so good for so long. But then I had just a few potato chips to reward myself. And like an avalanche, the cravings took hold of me again. Not so much a hunger as a desperate, awful need. He's disgusted by you, came the whispers again as I watched Mike sleep. He's going to find someone younger. He's going to find someone skinnier. He's going to find someone who... I patted my way to the bathroom so Mike wouldn't hear me cry and stared at the fat woman in the mirror. I'd been a yoga teacher once, an athlete. When Mike had met me, I'd been the kind of woman men chased down the street just to talk to. And women secretly hated, though they would never say a thing to my face. I remembered the grin on Mike's face when he had me on his arm, and the joy bursting inside of me when I overheard other men complimenting him on his gorgeous wife. I hate you, I whispered to the woman in the mirror. I reached down and grabbed a handful of my belly fat. I held up my arm and wiggled the loose flesh. I turned around and looked over my shoulder at my dimpled, shapeless butt, and I heard my mom's voice from 20 years ago saying, "Vivian, you are fat, fat, fat." And then I stopped and looked myself in the eye and saw a woman who wanted to give up. Because at that point, before I discovered the simple truth about hunger, cravings, and weight loss I'm going to share with you, I thought I'd tried everything. Every miracle diet, every life-changing workout routine. I'd gone to Weight Watchers every Tuesday for 3 years and ended up fatter than when I started. I did insanity in my living room until I was exhausted and the carpet was covered in sweat. I spent hundreds of dollars on Garcinia Cambogia miracle pills that were a total scam. I went to a medical weight loss center where they injected vitamin B12 directly into my butt because it was supposed to boost my metabolism, when it didn't seem to do anything at all. At one point, I even considered liposuction, but couldn't bear the idea of telling Mike I was so weak that only surgery would make me thin again. I added it up once and figured out that over the years, I'd spent hundreds of hours and over $9,500 I didn't even have chasing the body I wanted so much, and the happiness I thought would come with it. And again, I lost the weight. And again, it came back with a few extra pounds for good measure. Because the fact is, no matter what the weight loss gurus kept saying, I knew the truth in my heart. The reason I was fat and I was going to be fat was because the hunger inside me was so much stronger than I was. Just stop eating so much, Viv. My best friend Emma sighed, and I wish I could reach through the phone and strangle her. Emma, who had been a size 2 since high school and walked around in belly shirts even though she was almost 40. Emma, who had never been on a diet in her whole life. Emma, who I secretly hated as much as I loved her. Don't you think I know that? I screamed with hot anger in my voice. I try, Emma. I try and I try and I try and I hold out for a long time, but eventually I just get so hungry and can't help myself. I'm just not strong enough. I'm just too weak. Hold on, shut up, Emma said, and my cheek burned like she'd slapped me in the face. I've known you for almost 20 years, Viv. I've seen you get through illnesses and breakups and injuries that would have broken almost anybody else I know. And every single time, you got back up. And every single time I was proud to be your friend. Because you are not weak, Viv. You are one of the strongest women I know. Then why can't I stop eating? I asked. Why am I so hungry all the time? Why does this keep happening? I don't know, sweetie, she said, her voice warm and kind. What I do know is that as long as I've known you, you've been trying to shrink yourself down, take up less space, and fix your body as if it's broken in some way. And it's not. You're not. So instead of beating yourself up about this, like somebody I barely recognize, why don't you do what my amazing friend Vivian would do and stop feeling sorry for yourself and figure out the truth? I love you, she said. I love you too, I said back. And then she was gone. I sat there on the couch with my heart thumping and my head buzzing and realized I had a decision to make. The most important decision of my life. And that I really just had 3 options. Option 1 was to keep doing what I was already doing. Keep choking down whatever fad diet the multi-billion-dollar diet industry decided to shove down my throat every year, yo-yoing from fat to thin to fat to thin, and hating myself a little bit more every time I failed. Option 2 was to just accept that I was fat and I was going to be fat and living the rest of my life knowing I'd given up. Or I could make the choice I did. I could stop listening to men about weight loss when they had no idea what it was like to struggle with food and your weight as a woman. I could learn the truth about why I craved bad foods so much and why I felt so hungry even when I was full. I could stop hating myself and take control of my life and my weight loss instead of waiting for someone else to magically fix the problem for me. I could make the choice that finally freed me from the constant hell of dieting and, in just a few short months, transform me from this to this. Without beating myself up, without counting calories, without depriving myself, and without doing anything that felt like a diet at all. So what did I do to transform my body? And how can you do it too? I can tell you, I didn't finally get the body I craved by trying a new fad diet or running myself ragged at the gym where I could be judged by all the thin women my age. I didn't get here by measuring my leptin levels or taking magic supplements or doing anything complicated at all. Instead, I just stopped blaming myself for being so weak and asked myself a simple question. What if, instead of trying to lose weight by forcing myself not to eat the food that I wanted so much, I could figure out how to not want all that food in the first place? What if there was some way to change things so that instead of fighting myself not to eat the chocolate ice cream in the freezer, I didn't eat it because I just didn't want it? What if it turned out there was one tiny change I could make that I had completely overlooked until now? That everyone has completely overlooked until now. that would finally allow me to experience just how easy weight loss can be when you're just not hungry anymore. And what if I can help you experience it too? The morning after my talk with Emma, I got to work like a woman possessed. The first thing I had to do was burn every piece of complicated, contradictory diet advice, nutrition insanity, crazy workout plans, and gobbledygook fake science I'd learned from the multi-billion-dollar weight loss industry out of my mind forever. The second thing I did was take a vow to never follow another diet again, and to never tell myself that any food or drink, no matter how naughty or unhealthy, was off limits again for as long as I live. Because I knew I would never get thin and stay thin if I had to keep burning willpower to stop eating the foods I loved so much. And the third thing I did was go on a mission to learn the real truth about hunger and appetite that would finally set me free from a lifetime of dieting forever. I talked to doctors, read scientific papers, bought every book on appetite and hunger I could find on Amazon, peppered a university psychiatrist with endless questions over email, and filled my head with more biology and science than I could stomach. And eventually, after sorting through all that, I figured out that if I wanted to gain control over my appetite and stop being so hungry so I could lose weight without beating myself up, I only had to do two simple sounding things. One, I needed to find a way to heal my mental and emotional relationship with food and let go of the trauma I'd gone through after decades of dieting so I didn't go back to my comfort foods every time I got a little stressed out. Two, I needed to address the physical side of hunger and reset my appetite so I only got hungry when my body actually was hungry, so I could walk down the ice cream aisle at the supermarket without feeling a single twinge and without using any willpower at all. And that would be it. If I could just address the mental, emotional, and physical sides of cravings and hunger, then the fat would just fall off me as I started eating less calories without having to rely on my willpower at all. I sat there at my desk for a moment, took a deep breath, and thought about the journey I was about to go on, knowing I would have to go on it by myself. And then I cracked open my laptop, put "You Can't Hate Yourself Thin" as a reminder at the top of the page, and got to work, designing the step-by-step instruction manual I wish already existed out in the world. If I learned anything from all my dieting failures, it was that if I wanted to lose the weight and keep it off for good, the only person I could rely on was me. It was frightening at first, but slowly, as I created the simple steps that would allow me to finally take control of my body and my life forever, I felt this amazing sense of power I had simply never felt before. I cried when I used the "I like myself" game to finally understand why I'd been trying to get smaller and hide for so long. I discovered the 5 kinds of hunger and felt anger in my blood as I realized how the food industry had been using chemicals and additives to get us hooked on candy and sugar like a common drug dealer. I learned the truth about the human appetite and how the big food companies had used chemicals and additives to hijack human hunger, so we would eat more and more and more. And most of all, I took what I learned and put it into action. I created a step-by-step plan I could follow, backed up by science and my own refusal to give up. And slowly, suddenly, things started to change. Until, "You are beautiful," Mike whispered in my ear as he wrapped me in his arms and let his hands rest comfortably on my butt. I was so busy with my research, unlearning the lies I'd learned from all those terrible diets over the years, creating my step-by-step system that I didn't even really notice at first. My stomach shrinking just a little bit every day, my comfy house pants getting looser and looser, the fat evaporating off my face, men staring at me as I walked by in a way they hadn't since I was in my 20s, the whispers in my head getting fainter and fainter and fainter, the smile on my face I thought I would never see again. No, I didn't realize what an amazing transformation I'd gone through until that moment in the kitchen. My husband coming to find me, telling me his poker buddies couldn't stop talking about how hot I looked. He wrapped me in his strong arms. I felt his lips nibbling down the side of my neck, and as he held me tight against him and picked me up over his shoulder like I weighed nothing at all, I could finally feel in my heart that he definitely wasn't disgusted by me at all. Help me, please, begged my little sister Katie. Katie, who had never struggled with her weight before she got pregnant. Katie, who couldn't get rid of the baby weight no matter what diet she tried, no matter how hard she worked out. Please, I need to know how you did it. I hate the way I look. I hate that I can't stop eating like this. I'm begging you, please. And then more and more and more about how weak she felt. How awful she felt every time she looked in the mirror. You can't hate yourself thin, I said while I hugged her, and felt a proud thump in my chest when I did. She came over that afternoon, and I showed her my lab, the spare bedroom where I'd set up my computer, the place Katie still calls hallowed ground because of how that day changed her life forever. I explained everything I'd learned on my crazy journey, how the problem wasn't her. It wasn't her fault. It wasn't because there was anything wrong with her. It wasn't because she was weak at all. I sent her home with a printout of the secret manual I'd use to reset my appetite, get rid of my cravings for good, and finally lose the weight without dieting or depriving myself at all. It was pretty weird acting as somebody's mentor on this, but every time she had a question, I made sure to go back and simplify things. And she had a lot of questions. Katie's so ADHD, it's hard for her to even follow a basic recipe, so I was forced to make it as simple as I humanly could. I was a little scared at first. I mean, would what I had done really work for my little sister too? I guess I shouldn't have worried, because just like it happened for me, over the next months she stopped wanting the cupcakes and the candy and the bad food she'd been eating for years. And suddenly, she was smiling every time I saw her, instead of trying to hide herself behind baggy clothes. I thought that was as far as it would go, that we would keep this as a family secret. But then Katie betrayed me and changed my life and the lives of thousands of other women forever. Katie promised she would keep my manual a secret, but she was so happy when she started getting results that I guess she couldn't help herself. She made a copy for her friend Allison, who was 35 and newly single, and embarrassed to put recent photos on her dating profiles because she was ashamed of how she looked. I was a little mad at first, but then Allison followed my simple system, reset her appetite to what it was always supposed to be, lost 28 pounds, and found herself showing off in her photos instead of trying to hide like she always did before. I was shocked. I mean, I'm no weight loss guru, I'm not a scientist, but somehow I discovered something powerful, something special, something that would change how women look and feel about our bodies forever. And from there, things quickly got out of control. Allison was about as good at keeping my secret as Katie had been. All of a sudden, my manual was being passed around among all our friends and family, and I couldn't stop it, no matter how hard I tried. Women from 16 to 76 who were sick of fighting their bodies and used my simple steps to gain control over their relationship with food and to quickly lose the weight they thought they'd be stuck with forever. Somewhere along the way, my little manual got the name, You Can't Hate Yourself Thin. And it stuck because, well, because you can't. Because you've tried. Because you've beaten yourself up and blamed yourself and called yourself a failure too many times. And because it's time for you to experience the incredible results from You Can't Hate Yourself Thin for yourself. You Can't Hate Yourself Thin is the result of over a year of nonstop intensive research, testing, writing, rewriting, and plain old-fashioned work. Work I did so you don't have to. See, when I decided to share this astonishing method for saying goodbye to your cravings and getting control over your relationship with food for good, I set myself a goal as big and lofty as climbing Everest. And to reach that goal, I knew this program had to accomplish 3 things. First, it had to tell you the truth about weight loss that has been hidden from you for your entire life by the greedy weight loss gurus who want to keep you fat and feeling bad about yourself, because then they can sell you a new miracle diet year after year. Second, it had to be easy, as close to done for you as possible, so you never have to feel anxious about what to do, and so every question you have is answered before you even have the chance to ask it. And third, it had to be transformational. It had to give you stunning, almost frightening results in a shockingly short amount of time, so you can see that it works and feel the change in your body in just a few short days or weeks. Like I said, it was a pretty lofty goal. But after months and months of work, draft after draft of the program, hours and hours spent researching and creating and testing and revising as I got feedback from hundreds of ecstatic beta testers who couldn't believe the results they were getting, well, here we are at the top of Everest. In You Can't Hate Yourself Thin, you'll discover why a woman's appetite is like a thermostat, how living in the modern world has forced your appestat out of whack, and the simple 3-step process that resets your appetite to 0, so you can only feel hungry when your body is hungry, and your cravings for bad foods almost magically disappear for good. How dieting actually makes you fat, and how to heal the terrible damage a lifetime of dieting has done to both your body and your mind, so you can finally lose weight the easy way. Why you should take your scale to the backyard and smash it with a hammer, and how to use the aesthetic-free goals to create the lean, beautiful body you deserve without worrying about how much you weigh ever again. The mental side of weight loss, how the whispers in your head have sabotaged your attempts to lose weight at every turn, and how to use the simple game to permanently free yourself of negative self-talk and feeling like you're not good enough. Why lions never get fat, and how to awaken your inner lioness so you feel powerful, strong, and completely in control of your relationship with food. And that's just the tip-top of the iceberg. I don't even have time to tell you about the envy eliminator technique and how to permanently short-circuit the part of your brain that's constantly comparing you to other women. Why you shouldn't give up drinking if you want to lose weight, and how to get lean and stay lean even if you drink a whole bottle of wine each and every day. The Big Mac salad. Yes, it exists, and yes, it's amazing. But most of all, you'll learn the exact step-by-step, almost done-for-you system that will eliminate your cravings forever. So losing weight and keeping it off feels as simple and easy as falling off a log. So you wake up every day with a smile on your face. So you look in the mirror and love the woman you see looking back at you. So you like the woman you see in the mirror, and never, ever again, for the rest of your life, try to hate yourself thin. Can you feel that? Your heart beating? That dryness in your mouth? That incredible desire to have this? To have the body you've craved for so long? To finally feel in control of your relationship with food? To never feel weak again? To finally have the whispers in the back of your head fade away, so you can barely remember them at all? It's almost time for you to make one of the most important decisions of your life. The decision to stay on the dieting roller coaster forever, or to finally feel what it's like to be in control of your body, your health, and your life in a way I promise you've never experienced before. Like I said, it's an important decision, one you'll look back on years and years from now as the moment that changed everything when it comes to you losing the weight and keeping it off forever. When it comes to you finally looking the way you've wanted to for so very, very long. When it comes to you waking up, looking in the mirror in the morning, and instead of feeling like a failure when it comes to your battle with your weight and with food, you see a beautiful, fit, happy, healthy, energized woman who you would barely recognize if you saw her now, but is the you who's been trying to show herself to the world for your entire life. I'm going to tell you exactly how you can get started and join the You Can't Hate Yourself Thin family in just a moment. But before I do, I want to do something you might find a little bit weird. I want to take a moment to tell you why you might not want to grab your copy of this truly magical, life-changing program. Because ultimately, I only want this information to get out to women who need this information, like a drowning woman needs a life preserver. To women who are sick of beating themselves up and not feeling good enough. To women who can feel the pain I went through on my journey and finally get the body, the life, and even the marriage I've yearned for my entire life. Because you've felt that pain too. So please, if you like counting calories, measuring every bite of food you eat, giving up every snack and candy that gives you comfort when the world is hard, and the world is so hard already, the last thing anybody needs is to suffer more. If you like spending hours a day at the gym, sweating yourself ugly, and feeling that anxiety in your heart that it's all going to fall apart if you ever get off the hamster wheel and try to enjoy your life, If you like listening to the lies from the multi-billion-dollar weight loss industry, trying to suck money out of your purse with the newest fad diet every year like clockwork, if you think the way to permanent weight loss is to roll the dice on some magic supplement or pill, if you like punishing yourself, criticizing yourself, feeling ugly and worthless and unlovable and not good enough, if you like hating yourself and think, even after all our time together, that the way to lose weight and keep it off is to starve yourself and give up everything to create a body you'll never be able to maintain, well, then this isn't for you, and I'd like you to leave this page right now. Because the path I'm going to lay out for the women who are going to go on this journey with me is one full of joy and kindness and self-acceptance, and most of all, sustainable, permanent results. So before we go any further, take a moment and ask yourself, what kind of woman are you? What kind of woman do you want to be? Just for a second, picture in your mind what it's going to feel like when you're finally able to stop dieting forever. When the cravings that make your life so hard every single day simply fade away until they're nothing but a memory. Imagine what it's going to be like when losing weight and keeping it off feels so easy that a little voice in the back of your head thinks you must be cheating in some way. Imagine your husband or your boyfriend or even just that guy you've had your eye on looking at you with that special hunger in his eyes that sends a shock of electricity up and down your spine because you finally feel seen and desired in a way you haven't in so long. Keep all of that in your mind. Feel that tingle over every inch of your skin and that relaxation and joy in your heart. Let that smile spread across your lips until your cheeks ache at the very idea. And then ask yourself, how much is it worth to live that life? How much is it worth to be that woman? Like in a fantasy land where price was no object and you had all the money you needed and you could treat yourself, how much would you be willing to pay to know you finally have the answer you've been looking for so long? To know you'll never again have to feel guilty looking in the mirror, grabbing hold of your belly fat and feeling so bad about yourself because you're too weak to lose weight. If you had asked me this question just a few years ago, before my crazy journey led me to discover the simple secrets that finally gave me the body and life I always dreamed of, I would have said $10,000 or more. And I would have meant it. I mean, I'm nowhere near rich, but between the personal trainers and the diet books and the supplements and the magic pills and weird exercise machines that promise to give me a miracle butt, between the hundreds I spent on a hypnotist to help me cure my cravings, and the hundreds more I spent on wine so I could numb myself and my terrible thoughts at night. Not to mention the clothes I had to buy when I was on the diet roller coaster. The little black dress that hung in my closet mocking me whenever I got fat again, and the depression that came with it all. Compared to all that, $10,000 to have this handled for the next 40 years of my life sounds kind of cheap. I mean, $10,000 is the price of a crappy used car. And we both know your health and your happiness and looking in the mirror and loving the woman you see for the rest of your life is worth a heck of a lot more than that. But of course, I'm not going to ask you to invest $10,000 for access to the You Can't Hate Yourself Thin manual and the incredible results you'll get with it, just like so many women have before you. Because my mission is to help 1 million women finally win the battle against their cravings and their weight once and for all. And I sure as heck can't do that if I sell it for a price only the 1% can afford. When I first created You Can't Hate Yourself Thin, a lot of experts told me I needed to charge at least $297 for access to the program and manual. They told me that's what I had to charge because the program was so robust, so done for you, so easy and so effective. They said it was the holy grail of women's weight loss, and that I'd be a fool for charging even 1 red cent less. But I guess I'm a fool because I'm not going to ask you to pay $297 to change your life forever with You Can't Hate Yourself Thin. See, I know that even when you want something so much and know it's a total steal at the price you're paying, as a woman, sometimes you just can't give yourself what you need because it feels too selfish putting yourself first. Which is why I'm going to do something kind of risky here. Not a risk to you, but a big risk to me. See, like I said a minute ago, my mission in life is to help 1 million women all around the world escape the dieting trap and experience safe, permanent weight loss with You Can't Hate Yourself Thin. And if I have to take a hit to my pocketbook to accomplish that mission, that's just the way it is. If my story resonates with you, then I feel like you and I have a lot in common. I feel like in some weird way, we're sisters. So because you've given me some of your precious time, I'm going to give you something truly astonishing in return. As a way of saying thank you for listening to my story and going on this journey with me, you're not going to pay $297. You're not going to pay $197. Heck, you're not even going to pay $97. No. If you act right now and promise not to tell anyone else about the amazing deal you're getting, I'll put my neck on the line, give you a special 87% discount, and let you have the complete You Can't Hate Yourself Thin program and the astonishing results you'll get with it for a single, one-time payment of just $37 if you act right now. And just to make this a no-brainer, I'm going to back everything I've said with a truly astonishing guarantee. Here's how it works. Simply click the button below and enroll in the You Can't Hate Yourself Thin program right now. Use the material, follow the program, experience for yourself what it's like to watch the pounds melt away without beating yourself up or forcing yourself into a diet you hate. Feel what it's like to finally be in charge of your relationship with food, to feel comfortable and beautiful in your body, to wake up every morning and love the woman you see staring back at you from the mirror. If you don't think the program is worth at least double what you're paying today, simply contact my customer service anytime in the next 60 days, and you'll get back every dime as fast as the bank will let us. Why am I being so generous? Because I want this for you. I wake up every day grateful for how this program has changed my life, and how it's changed the lives and the bodies of so many women I love. And if I have to put myself out there a bit to help you, I'll gladly do just that. Okay, if you're not convinced yet, let me do one more thing to knock you off the log, so this is the easiest decision you've ever made in your whole life. I want you to feel all the way, deep in your bones, that you're getting an incredible deal that you can be proud of. That's why I've got 3 very special presents for you. Yours, free, just for saying yes to You Can't Hate Yourself Thin today. First, I'll give you the You Can't Hate Yourself Thin Fast Start Accelerator Guide, which boils down the whole system in 3 easy steps and is designed to give you the most powerful tools you need to push past procrastination and get results as quickly as humanly possible. Your second present is your special collection of 3 Love Your Loss recipe books. Listen, we all know the worst part of going on any kind of weight loss program is having to read labels, figure out what you're allowed to eat every day, and grind through preparing the right meals. That's why I've decided to do all the hard work for you and flat out give you my Love Your Loss Healthy Lifestyle recipe book, the Love Your Loss Winning at Breakfast recipe book, and the Love Your Loss Super Smoothies book, all 100% free when you try out You Can't Hate Yourself Thin today. Your third present is something special. In fact, it's less of a gift and more of an invitation to a community you've been looking for your entire life without even knowing it. Listen, if I've learned anything during my own battles with my weight and with food, it's that no one can do this alone. No one. If you want to lose weight and keep it off, the absolute best way to do that is to have other women supporting you every step of the way. As soon as you finish your enrollment in You Can't Hate Yourself Thin, you'll be instantly added to my closed Facebook group where you can ask questions, network, bond with other folks going on the exact same journey, and get the motivation and accountability you need to stick to the program and get the amazing results I've promised you here today. So let's add all of this up so you can see for yourself what an incredible deal you're getting. With your special discount, which I may need to take down at any time because it might get too generous, you're getting the complete You Can't Hate Yourself Thin program for just $37. We already agreed that You Can't Hate Yourself Thin is worth at least $297 all by itself, so that's already a pretty amazing deal. But if you act now, you're also getting the You Can't Hate Yourself Thin Fast Start and Accelerator program, all 3 Love Your Loss recipe books, and exclusive VIP membership in my special closed Facebook group. And each of those should probably sell for $97 or more all by themselves, too. If you were checking out at the supermarket, that would all add up to $388. But using your special discount, you'll get everything I've talked about today for just $37. I don't know about you, but if I was at the store and got almost $800 worth of stuff for just $37, I'd feel like I won the lottery. All you have to do to take advantage of this amazing deal is click the big button below this video right now. Then fill in your payment details using a credit card, debit card, or PayPal on the next page to get immediate access to the complete program and everything else I've talked about today. But you have to act right now. Remember, I'm offering the complete You Can't Hate Yourself Thin program for just $37 to see if I can make the math work. If I can't, if the numbers just don't add up, I may have to raise or even triple the price in the near future, even though I really don't want to. So please, if you leave here today and then come back in a day or two to find the price is much higher, please don't write me begging to be let in at the discount rate. If you let this incredible opportunity slip through your fingers, there's simply nothing I can do. But if you're seeing this message right now, it means you can still grab You Can't Hate Yourself Thin at the drastically discounted rate. Okay, it's time to take action. You're at a crossroads right now, and you really just have two very different options, leading to two very different lives. Option 1 is to simply leave this page without enrolling in the program and try to forget everything you just learned here today. I think you already know what will happen if you do that. That heavy feeling in your heart, that sense that you made a mistake, that you didn't take an opportunity you wanted so much, that feeling of shame and helplessness every time you look in the mirror, every time another diet fails. You don't want that. Which is why you should seriously consider taking option 2. Just say yes right now. Click the button below. Enter your payment information right now before life gets in the way and enroll in the You Can't Hate Yourself Thin program. Get everything we've talked about here. Experience for yourself how amazing it is to be in control of your relationship with food, to never have to diet again, to finally have the body you were always supposed to have. With my incredible 60-day guarantee, you're risking nothing at all. And with your astonishing discount, you're getting 85% off if you act right now. My name is Vivian Edwards. Thank you so much for your time, and I can't wait to hear about your results.